Beneath the endless green canopy of the Amazon rainforest lies a world few have ever seen, a realm so immense and unforgiving that it has claimed the lives of countless explorers who dared to enter. With deadly snakes, stealthy jaguars, and waters teeming with piranha, the Amazon's reputation is built on danger. The conditions are so brutal that many who ventured in were never heard from again. Yet the danger hasn't stopped them from coming. Ever since Spanish conquistadors arrived in the 1500s, stories of magnificent golden cities hidden deep in the jungle have lured adventurers to their doom. El Dorado, the mythical city of gold, has spawned countless maps, legends, and fatal expeditions, always promised, never found, always just beyond reach. In 1925, British explorer Percy Fawcett disappeared into the Amazon searching for a lost city he called Zede. His final letter to his wife was confident.
"You need have no fear of any failure."
He vanished without a trace. For decades, scientists dismissed these stories. They insisted that large civilizations couldn't have existed in the Amazon. The soil was too poor, farming was impossible. But everything we thought we knew was wrong. Our story begins nearly 5 centuries ago. In 1542, Francisco de Orellana left Quito in pursuit of El Dorado's riches. Before him stretched over 6 million square kilometers of rainforest, nearly twice the size of India, cutting across 9 nations. The Amazon's rivers defy logic. They carry a fifth of all fresh water on Earth, and their floodplains transform with terrifying speed. Within weeks, Orellana's expedition was suffering. Heat, humidity, swarms of insects, and rampant disease. Within months, most of his men were dead, consumed by a forest that harbors a third of the world's animal species. Desperate and running out of supplies, Orellana pushed down the Rio Napo, hoping it would lead them to safety. Instead, it dragged them deeper into hell. They raided indigenous villages for food, but word traveled faster than their boats. Soon arrows rained down from the trees. Men fell one by one, their bodies devoured by piranha. The jungle took everything. Parasites burrowed under their skin. Malaria burned through their ranks. Arrows flew from the darkness. Strange sounds echoed through the night until finally, miraculously, their boat emerged into the Atlantic Ocean. The hunt for gold had become a desperate fight for survival. For centuries, explorers chased myths of golden kingdoms. Then came the scientists who declared those myths impossible. In the 1940s, 2 American archaeologists, Betty Meggers and Clifford Evans, traveled to the Amazon to study its history. What they discovered seemed to prove the old stories were fantasy. The soil was thin and weak. Nutrients washed away quickly. Farmland became exhausted after just a few growing seasons. In 1971, Meggers summarized her findings with a phrase that would dominate scientific thought for generations. The Amazon was a counterfeit paradise. It looked lush and fertile, but it couldn't support large populations. The soil was too poor for big harvests. The rivers shifted constantly, making permanent settlements pointless. There were no stone monuments, no walls, no cities. The map was redrawn. The Amazon became a place of scattered tribes and small villages. Anything larger was deemed impossible. This view dominated textbooks and museums for decades. It became scientific fact, but not everyone believed it. In the 1970s, archaeologist Donald Lathrop challenged the prevailing theory. He found evidence of complex pottery traditions and cultural continuity that didn't fit the simple narrative. The debate intensified, but the counterfeit paradise framework held strong. Then in the 1990s, geographer William Denevan began dismantling the pristine myth, the idea that the Americas were untouched wilderness before 1492. He gathered evidence showing that indigenous peoples had reshaped entire landscapes long before Europeans arrived. He didn't overturn the old thinking immediately, but he changed the question. Not could people survive here, but what have we been missing? Local farmers had known for generations about patches of unusually dark, rich soil that never seemed to lose fertility. 19th century scientists noticed them, but assumed they were natural formations. Mid-20th century excavations revealed the truth. These soils contained charcoal, pottery fragments, fish bone, and organic waste. They were human-made. Called terra preta, black earth, these engineered soils retain nutrients and stay productive for centuries. In a region where normal soil dies quickly, terra preta allowed sustained agriculture in the same locations for generations. But the real breakthrough came with airborne laser technology. Archaeologists began flying LiDAR scanners over the canopy. Laser pulses slipped through gaps in the leaves and mapped the ground below. When they digitally removed the vegetation, astonishing patterns emerged. Straight roads, rectangular platforms, ring-shaped ditches, canals. This combination of evidence shattered the old assumptions. People didn't just survive in the Amazon, they engineered it. One of the most striking examples is the Upano Valley in Ecuador. LiDAR surveys uncovered a network of streets, over 6,000 earthen platforms, and open plazas. These weren't stone pyramids, but carefully arranged earthworks, what some researchers call garden urbanism. Towns blended seamlessly with fields, terraces, and drainage systems. In western Brazil, deforestation exposed another wonder: the acre geoglyphs, over 450 geometric earthworks, circles, squares, and ditches, spanning 13,000 square kilometers. Their exact purpose remains debated. Ceremonial grounds, meeting places, territorial markers. But one thing is clear: they represent centuries of large-scale landscape engineering. All these societies shared common survival strategies. Raised fields protected crops from flooding, canals and fish traps turned seasonal floods into food sources. Managed orchards provided reliable harvests, and on terra preta, crops grew year after year without depleting the soil. These discoveries completely change how we understand the Amazon. People here didn't conquer nature the way European colonizers imagined. They adapted to it. For centuries, the Amazon was described as untouched wilderness, vast, empty, hostile to human life. The new evidence tells a different story entirely. What LiDAR and soil analysis reveal is a cultural landscape, shaped and managed by people for thousands of years. Roads, canals, platforms, orchards, engineered soils. These weren't natural accidents. They were deliberate designs. They show extraordinary resilience and ingenuity. Instead of forcing the rainforest to submit, these societies worked with its rhythms, its floods, its droughts, its cycles. This also challenges how we define cities. Western models expect stone monuments, dense populations, clear boundaries. The Amazon shows another way: low-density urbanism spread out, interwoven with gardens and forest. Real cities just built on different principles. We can't ignore how these civilizations ended. The decline didn't come from internal failure. It came from contact. When Europeans arrived in the 16th century, they didn't just bring weapons. They brought diseases: smallpox, influenza, measles. Indigenous populations had no immunity. Mortality rates may have reached 80 to 90%. Entire communities vanished within a generation. Roads faded, canals silted over, orchards merged back into the forest. By the time later explorers pushed inland, they saw only scattered villages and assumed that's how it had always been. In truth, they were walking through landscapes already emptied by epidemics. These discoveries aren't just about the past. They matter now. Many of these sites are still under threat. Expanding deforestation and industrial agriculture are destroying these landscapes faster than archaeologists can study them. Earthworks, canals, ancient soils, all risk being erased permanently. Researchers argue that archaeology can guide conservation. Protecting these sites means protecting the forest around them. Cultural heritage and ecological heritage are inseparable. The Amazon still guards its secrets. With every LiDAR flight, with every handful of dark earth analyzed, more of its past comes into focus. Yet we've likely seen only a fraction of what lies beneath the canopy. The Amazon was never empty, and if entire cities could vanish here, what other histories remain hidden, waiting to be revealed? If you want more stories where travel, history, and mystery collide, subscribe to Compass of the Earth to be the first to see the past come back into view.